If you did watch Daybreak yesterday, just 24 hours ago, UNT political science professor Dr. Kimi King joined us with a preview of the Electoral College certification. Boy, a lot has happened since then. She is back with us again this morning to help us make sense of everything that we saw. And I appreciate you waking up with us this morning, Dr. Kimi King. I want to get right to it. When we talked yesterday, we were mere hours away from what was supposed to be a ceremonial rubber stamp. How did we go from that to what we ended up witnessing?
Well, yesterday when I said that the real show was going to be outside the Capitol, never in my darkest dreams or nightmares would I have thought that it would have come to this. I do not think the American people understand how close we were to absolute chaos and disaster breaking out. Imagine if they had breached it and been able to harm representatives who would have been unable to complete the process. And appreciated greatly the point by the security expert that this has been coming. This should have been seen for weeks, if not months. And so it's not clear how we got here. And we are going to be investigating this for quite a while. This is not only going to cost taxpayers a great deal in the middle of a pandemic, it's cost our democracy more than we can know.
Many have blamed President Trump for his remarks at that rally yesterday, saying that side of the violence. But were the seeds for this sown long before?
I think so. And you have to remember that America has a history of protest and referring to the harsh words on the floor of the Congress. Remember, they used to have fights on the floors of the Congress way back when our founders resolved these things through duels. But we have evolved the way in which we resolve these conflicts. This is antithetical to everything we stand for, including the First Amendment, how we view the role of democracy has been undermined by this activity. So where the blame lies, it does not. It will matter over time. But what we have to think about now is to proceed cautiously. It's in these times that you can have mob rule.
Well, I wish we could talk about this all morning long, but I do have to wrap it up. Dr. Kimi King, thank you again for joining us this morning.